everyone, today we'll be talking about how to use AMA citation style. I will give you a brief overview of AMA style and I will show you how to find the ebook through the library. We'll also go over how to use AMA style to document sources in text and also in a reference list. So AMA style is used by JAMA, was developed by the American Medical Association, and is the single most comprehensive text focused solely on medical publishing. Citation styles help provide a consensus for how writers should format and present their research. They provide clear and consistent guidelines to authors about article types and show your credibility and professionalism. They also help avoid plagiarism by giving credit to the original authors of the idea or data. To access the ebook through the library, here is a quick overview from the library's website or homepage. You'll see the Find box. You'll need to click on eBooks and eJournals, and then from the drop-down menu, you'll need to select eBooks and eJournals. In the search box, you'll type AMA Manual. And I will show you how to do that from the homepage, library.utesca.edu. Here's the Find box. I will click on eBooks and eJournals. I'll click on the library catalog, and from the drop-down, I'll select eBooks and eJournals. I'll type in AMA Manual and click Search. I'll give the internet a minute to work, and we should get to a page where it will ask us to log in. I will go ahead and log in with my credentials, accept, and then it should take us to the catalog record for the AMA Manual of Style. So from here you can see a link. It's the 11th edition, which is the most current one available. And I will click on the link to access the full text. From here you can click on the download the PDF or the online EPUB version here. And on the left hand, you can see how you can navigate through the book. One other way to get to the ebook is through the library's homepage. If you click on Guides, you can type AMA or browse list of guides and see there's an AMA style guide here. And from this guide, you can click on the link and it should take you to the full text of the book. Now we're going to talk about how to use in-text citations in your writing. When using in-text citations, you should use superscript numbers. And here is a paragraph in blue with an example of a number 1 for the superscript numbers. You can see that superscript just means it's this little number up high, smaller than the rest of the text. Sources should be numbered in the order that they appear in the paper. And you use the superscript numerals outside of a period and comma, but inside a colon or semicolon. So in this example, the 1 is outside the period. It's outside a comma here, and it's inside the colon in this example. When citing multiple sources, use commas to separate each citation. You can see that example here. And when the sources follow each other in a list, you can use the dash or hyphen in between as long as it's a consecutive number. When using quotes, page numbers should be used, and they will go in parentheses, as you can see in this example here. The superscript number goes immediately after the closing quotation, and the page number should go in parentheses. You can see how there's no spaces between the closing of the quotes and the number, or between the parentheses and the page number here. If the author is named in a sentence, you can place the superscript immediately after the author's name, as in this example here. So now I'm going to show you how to put an in-text citation in a Word document. If you have EndNote downloaded onto your device, it should have automatically added EndNote here. And if you do, you can use EndNote to automatically create all of these for you. However, if you don't have that or don't want to use it, you can do it manually, and I will show you how to do that. So let's say I have some text, I've written some paragraphs here, and I want to add a in-text citation right here after the word evolutionist. You can just type in 1. Since this is the beginning of my paper, I know I'm going to use the number 1. Highlight the number. See that it is inside the period. And there is a button here for superscript. So you can see here under, I'm on the Home tab, I can press the superscript button. I've highlighted my 1, and now it's turned into a superscript number. To add another number, we do the same process. Let's put a 2 here, highlight it, and then click on the superscript button there. So now I will go back to the presentation to talk to you about references and how to make a reference list. So the basics of creating a reference for a journal article are here. You need the author's last name, first initial. The title should be in sentence case, which means only capitalize the first word of the title unless there are proper nouns like a place name and so on. You should put the abbreviated journal name in italics, and then you can see the format for the year, volume, issue number, and inclusive pages. Notice there are no spaces between any of these here. You can see an example of what that looks like down here. And if there is a DOI, it should be provided. If not, it's fine to leave it out. If you do provide it, it goes at the end and it is not followed by a period. When creating a reference for a book with just one author, you will list the author's last name and first initial with no comma after the last name and no spaces or periods after the initials. Then the book title in all caps, and an edition if it's other than the first, publisher's name, and year of copyright, putting a semicolon between the publisher and the year. For just a chapter of the book, the author's names go in the same format. If you have more than one author, you'll list them with commas in between. And then the chapter title, not in italics, and in sentence case. Then you will put the word in with a colon and list the editor's names of the book with the same rules as the other, the chapter author names, last name, first and middle initial, commas in between, and then you will put EDS period to indicate those were the editors. And then list the book title in all caps, edition, publisher, year, and in this case, because it is a book chapter, you want to include a page range of the inclusive chapter pages. So let's go to our document and pretend that we're going to add 2 citations. We have our numbers in here. So let's add the first one to match up with our number 1. At the end of your document is where you can put your reference list, and you'll put it in the order they appear in the document. So let's pretend we have an article we're going to cite, and we have the title, the authors, year, volume, issue, all of that here. So let's put them side by side so that we can more easily create our citation. Oops. There we go. Okay, so we know this is number 1 to match up with our number 1 there. First, we put the authors, and second author, oops, and third author, keep going until you have all the authors. And then put a period at the end. Next, we will list the title, and we will put it in sentence case. Except for the proper nouns. And then we put a period at the end of that. And next, after the title, we have the journal title, and we use the abbreviation and put it in italics. Okay, and then at the end of that, there's a period. Take my italics off and a space. The year, which is 2024, and then we'll put semicolon, no space. We'll put the volume, and then issue goes in parentheses, no spaces between any of this. And then we put a colon and then the page numbers, which we can see there are 514 to 524. Okay. Now, if there's a DOI associated with this article, we can add that. That's right there. You could copy and paste it in, just like that, and no period at the end of the DOI. So now let's add another one for our second citation, and let's pretend it's a book, and we have a book here to use as our example. So for the book, we do author first, which is Presley G, same format here, period, space, and then we list the title. And because this is the whole book that we're citing, we will put the title in italics. So if it was a chapter, we would put the book title in italics and the chapter not in italics. So we've got the book title, and now I'm going to put the publisher, which in this case is, let me see here, we can't see it. There we go, book details. So we have subtitle edition 1, so we don't list that. Publisher is University of Iowa Press. So that goes here. Let me take it off italics, and then a period, a semicolon, and then the date, which we see here is 2008. Right here. So we'll put 2008 period for that. And since this one is an ebook, we can put accessed, the date, which is the 20th, period, and then you can add the URL. And this one is going through the library, so you would need to log in. Anybody who tries to access it would need to log in for the full access. And then you just continue on with the rest of your references as you go through your paper. If you have other questions about AMA style, be sure to reference the AMA style guide that I had mentioned earlier. You could get to it by searching under guides or clicking on my name, Rebecca Howe, and it's right here under AMA style. So there's some more resources, access to the book, and some quick tips.